One more example, and this is just an application question. So we're looking at this example where they talk about the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit of a patient receiving a certain medication is given by the following equation. The temperature is equal to 0.0002 T cubed minus 0.0114 T squared plus 0.0158 T plus 104, where T is the number of minutes after receiving the medication. So the first question that's being asked, and we're going to use the variable T, we're not going to use the variable T to represent the temperature. We're going to use the variable Y to represent the temperature, because T is already being used. Even though we could use capital T, we'll use just the variable Y to represent temperature. So that is our dependent variable Y. So initially it says, what was the patient's temperature just before the medication was given? So that would be at 0 minutes. So Y is going to be equal to 0.0002 times 0 cubed minus 0.0114 times 0 squared plus 0.0158 times 0 plus 104. Now, anything, whether 0 is being cubed and then multiplied times anything, the result is just 0. So we know that the patient's initial temperature is 104. That's high. The next part is saying, what was the patient's temperature a half hour after the medication was given? So an hour hasn't even gone by yet. It's only 30 minutes. It's only 30 minutes, and the medication is already, or we're going to see what effect the medication has had. Now, since T is already in minutes, we will put 30, because half an hour is 30 minutes. So we've got to make note of that. And again, 0.0002 times 30 cubed minus 0.0114 times 30 squared plus 0.0158 times 30 plus 104. Now, hopefully you have a good calculator, because in this case, you are not expected to solve this without your calculator. So a quick demonstration is in order with the calculator. Now, obviously, you can just simply work it out with the calculator by taking all the terms and squaring it, but I'm going to show you a different method. I'm going to use the table of values. Now, the table of values is in the second function. It's what's known as a higher order function. The table of values can be found up here. And we also need to make sure we set up our table accordingly. Now, I'm going to use the equation function in this case. Now, I don't know if there's another equation in there. No, there isn't, but I will enter our equation. Remember, I've already established that Y is my dependent variable. I'm going to enter my equation into my calculator. So 0.0002. And in this case, instead of the variable T, the calculator is going to use the variable X. The variable function is always going to be here right next to the green alpha button. It's different for most calculators, but many of you were recommended that this is the calculator that I can support you with in this course. So that's the first part. Then it's minus 0.0114. Again, oh, and I forgot something. So it's x, and that's got to be, and I've got to insert, so second insert, and that's going to be raised to the power 3. Forgot to raise that to the power 3. Now, continuing on, 0.0114. Again, it's t, and in this case it's squared. So this one's an easy one to do because I could just use the squared button. I don't have to use the up arrow to raise it to the power. Then it's plus 0.0158. And it's x, and it does not need to be raised to a power, plus 104. And I hit enter. Now, I'm going to make sure that I have my table settings okay. In order to get into the table settings, I need to use the second or higher order function. Now, the way the table sets up and starts out is of no consequence. What's important is that we set up the independent variable to ask. The reason why we do that is, well, if you don't set it up to ask, it's just going to give you all the answers, and then you have to scroll through, and you're going to see the benefits of this as I work out the problems. So the table settings are good. Sorry, go back there. So the table settings are set. So independent variable is set to ask. The dependent is set to auto. So now I'm going to go to my table of values. So I'm going to go second table. Now notice it's blank, and that's okay. And I'll even show you in the last example, when the time was 0, the temperature should be 104. Well, now look, now time is going to be 30. So what is the patient's temperature 30 minutes after receiving the medication? The temperature now is down to 99.6. So we can conclude half an hour after receiving the medication, the patient's temperature was down quite significantly below 100 degrees at 99.6. Thank you again. See you next time.